Hi ladies, hi gents. I want to share a project with you today for Wild Orchid Crafts, and this is going to be a little bit different because I'm actually going to do a tutorial as I go along. So let me just move my sign out of the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to alter this wicker wreath that I found, and I managed to pick this up. I think I picked it up for $3.99, which isn't too bad. So I'm going to alter this, and I'm going to do it step by step. But what I'll do is I'll show you a step, and then I'll pause and finish that step off. Otherwise the tutorial would just be too long, and I take a long time with projects, so it would be really long. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to be adding fabric just to parts of the outside of the wreath. And for this I'm going to use some cheesecloth. You can use muslin strips as well, so let me just bring that down. And what I've done is I've put a couple on just to measure for the length I want, which is actually, let me just measure that. It's roughly about 1 inch wide, and these are about 10-inch strips, but I actually want half, so I'm just going to roughly cut them in half. And again, like I say, you know, cheesecloth, muslin, or any fabric really, it depends. I mean, I want it to fray, so that's why I'm using the cheesecloth. And what I'm going to do is just tie a few on with you, and then let me zoom in. I'm just going to tie a few. It's good that this is a wide wicker one, because it means that I can get the fabric in no problem. And I just double knot it. I do 2 knots. And you know, the fabric starts to fray as you tie it, which is good. So I'm just pushing the fabric through, grabbing the other end. You know, you can use like a little, I don't know, pokey tool to push the fabric through if the wicker's not as wide as one of these wreaths. And that's all I do to tie, and then you can just pull it as tight as you like. So I'll probably do a few more along there, and then I'll start on this one, and I'm just going to do the outside edges of this, but what I'll do is I'll do another one. And it is fiddly. I mean, it's easy to do, but on a wicker thing this shape, it is fiddly. But you see, what I'll do is I'll pause and I'll do them all, and then I'll come back and show you, and then I'll move on to the next bit. And you can see this frays fantastically, and if you've got any too long you can just trim them off, but I mean, you can see that's fraying as I'm going. So I could probably get another 2 or 3 on there, and then I'll start on this bit. You know, I'm not going to do a lot, I'm just going to do these outside edges along here. So I will come back when I've done that, and we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so you can see that I've done it all the way around now. All the way around. I've tied all the bits of cheesecloth. So what I'm going to do next is, I've got this lace from Wild Orchid Crafts. This is the guipure lace, which is MKX 594. So what I'm doing is I'm going to cut this into sections of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add this on each one of the main wicker pieces all the way around. And let me just make sure I've got it the right way around. Yep. I've got fibres everywhere. So I'm just going to use my glue gun for this. Like that. Let me bring it in a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'll do the next one. Let's make sure you're in shot. Okay, so that's 2. I'm do another one. What I'll do is I'll do one more and then I will stop and finish them all off and come back again so that you don't watch me doing the same thing over and over repeatedly. So I'm going to do that on all the rest of them and I will be right back when I've finished. Okay, so I've added all the bits of lace all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to set that to one side because I'm going to make some of the flowers for it. And this is going to be a Christmas wreath, so I'm actually going to use the poinsettia blooms. So I'm using the large and the small. So the large are MKX 222 and the small are MKX 224. I will pop all the product codes down below in the description box. So I'm going to zoom in again. Okay, so I took some of the blooms and I just spritzed them with glimmer mist. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up. And I done that earlier because I wanted them to dry, and I just used the abominable snowman glimmer mist. So it's got a silver, very slight silver. I'm sure it's not picking it up, but it's very slightly silver. Okay, so I'm going to just look at these a moment because if I remember right, yes. Okay, they're kind of, there's one main leaf on these, which I think is that one, that way. If you can see this one here. So I always put it one up, one down. Okay, those together. Like so. Sometimes I do them with 3 leaves. It depends how dimensional you want them. So that's 2. You know, you can do more if you want, but I'm just going to do these ones with 2 on here. I'll do another one of those. I'll do a few on here. Let me make a few small ones as well. Just looking for the main leaf on there, that's it. I love these are so cute. I've got some tiny embellishments from my stash that look like tiny berries, so I'm going to use those in the centre of the small ones. Blue string, like that. And for the centre of the big one, I've got these flat back flowers, and they're 15mm, and the product code for these are GST167. So I'm going to use one of those on the large. Make sure I haven't got blue string. I'm also going to use, let me see what colours are in here. I want to put a tiny bit of colour into it, blue. Excuse me. See, my Christmas colours are blue, white and silver. Yeah, I'm going to use the grey, so I'm going to use a flat back pearl and diamond circle in grey. And sorry, the product code for those are GST171. It's a bit of a heavier embellishment, so I just use a little bit more glue on those. So I'm going to have a mixture of different flower centres. I'm also, on some of them, I'm actually going to place a smaller one in the centre, as well as having smaller ones on their own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue and make the rest of these, and then I will be back. So I've made the 6 large poinsettias. I'm still working on the small ones, but I had an idea while I was making these. I'm just going to make a Shabby Chic backing for the flowers, like this. Just to give them fullness. So what I'm just going to show you how I've done this. Okay, so I've taken 6 squares of the cheesecloth or muslin, whatever you're using, and I just quickly fold them off square and over again. Just pop a little bit of glue in the bottom of them. So I'm just going to make 6 of those. I've used these on flowers before. Okay, that's 6 made. And I'm just going to do it here on my heat mat. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue on the first one, attach the second one, attach the third one. I'm just going to turn it over because I'm going to put 3 in opposite direction. Okay, so that's really quick backing for one of the flowers like that. Okay, and then of course, because it's cheesecloth or muslin, it frays, so I will fray them all. A real shabby look. I love doing this bit. I do make such a mess though, but I do love doing this bit. Okay, so then my poinsettia will be glued to the centre of that when I put it onto the wreath. But I'm not going to glue them down until I put them on the wreath. So I'm just going to make the 6 backing for the large flowers and finish off the small ones, and then I will be back. Okay, I'm back. Right, all the flowers are made, but before I start adding the flowers I want to add a hanger to hang this up. So I'm going to use seam binding, and I'm going to use the white, and the product code for that is MKX472. So let me just cut the length of that. So what I do is I fold it in half, and about the length I want it to be I tie a knot, but leaving some strands long enough to tie onto the wreath. So these two strands I'll actually tie onto the wreath. So I think I'm going to take, this is my top piece, excuse me, this is my top piece. Well, there's a nice wide piece in the, I didn't bring my tweezers over. Right. Sorry, I know this is not showing on camera. Let me do it this way. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is double knot that there. I might actually triple knot it. So I'm just tying it onto the wreath. Actually, I'll triple knot it. Let me just check that. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that to be where it's going to hang from, and then I'll just trim these off. If you want to, you can pop a bit of hot glue onto the knot just to make it more secure. I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so I need the, let me bring them over, the small flowers first. Okay, what I'm going to do with the small flowers is I'm actually going to glue them on where the lace ends all the way around. Hopefully I county dry and I have enough made. Zoom in, you'll see what I'm doing better. And what I do at the end, when I've finished the project, I just get my my heat gun, and just get rid of any glue strings. Nearly there. one more to do. Excuse me. Okay, so that's all the small poinsettias on all the way around. And I've just worked with the shape of the where the wicker falls. Some of them are closer together, some of them are wider apart, but you know, I just like to work with the natural shape rather than make it exactly symmetrical. Okay, so that's the top. So then I have the 6 larger poinsettia flowers, and I'm just going to lay them out where I think they should go. I'll turn it slightly. Okay, so I have all the backs made. So I've got 6, so I'm going to do them in opposites, I think. Turn that round so you can see it. So that's how I think I'm going to lay it out. So I'm going to start with putting the backs on the top one and the bottom one. So that's how they're going to look. So I think I'm going to place these on first, right? So that's hanging there. I want that top one to be really central. So I'm thinking that. So it's going on there. So I want to put a good amount of glue on there because I want it to stick really well onto the I'm going to have to get another glue stick. So that's how it looks so far. I'll just grab another glue stick. Okay, so this time, excuse me, I'm going to work on these two, I think. Okay, so again I'm just going to glue them onto the fabric, like so. Okay, that's how those two look. Right, I'm thinking there. And there. Yep, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to do this one first. Just want to make sure that sticks well. Okay, now this one. I think my glue gun's been on too long. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm lining that up. And if you don't think you've put it in the right place, just use your heat gun and heat up the glue and it will lift off and you can reposition it. Okay, so that's those four on. Okay, these two. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. actually, I need to move that one up slightly, so I'm going to take that one off. Sorry, you will hear my heat gun because I want to take this one off. Okay, I want to reposition this one. Okay. I think it needs to go a bit more there. Okay. I could just heat the glue up, but if I just put a little bit of glue on top of that, it will reheat the glue below it. Feel as secure. You know, that one doesn't feel as secure. I don't think I've got it right on her. Just going to pop a bit. More under there to secure that one. Excuse me, I'm just going to hold that a second. I just want that one to set well, and then I'll just fluff up the leaves again. Get that out of the way. Okay. And there, let me lift the camera up slightly, is our Shabby Chic Poinsettia Christmas wreath. And then you'll see around the sides it's got all the small poinsettias. So even from the sides, and of course you can fluff this up more until you get however fluffy you want it. So I'm really thrilled how that turned out. Apart from that one flower, I've still got, I don't know, maybe I need to fluff it up a bit more. It seems to turn in more. But I can take off and redo that one again. Or let it settle first before I change it. I might not need to, I might just, so you've still got part of the wreath popping through in places, and the laces just peeping through here and there. I really hope you like this and that you found the tutorial easy enough to follow. Let me know what you think, and I will pop all the links to Wild Orchid Crafts store, Facebook group and YouTube channel down below, and I will also pop all the product codes down below also. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.